Lloyd here. All right, Mono Red Steam-Kin. This is a deck that we've been playing a bunch of on stream. All of them wet farts. Thanks for the 17 months, Swine. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And someone actually took this deck list. I believe it was card for card what we're playing here to the SCG tournament this past weekend, and they finished in the top 64. They were on camera a couple of times. This deck's a lot of fun. Basically, it is a red deck that plays a bunch of cards that draw extra cards alongside Electrostatic Field and Guttersnipe to deal lots of damage to your opponent while you kind of draw through your deck taking lots of damage. So let's hop on into some matches here and burn some people out, hopefully. We are doing really well, Roscoe. We had a stint on the front page this morning that boosted our viewer numbers up, and really awesome to see people sticking around. Still having around 5K people. I appreciate everybody that dropped in from the front page and decided to hang out for the day. If you're enjoying what you see, make sure you hit that follow button. I'm here doing this with different wacky new standard decks every single day. So anywhere I can find your edited blue-green clan list, yeah, you can find all of my decks on my Stream Decker page. I would love to play first. This hand desperately needs a second land, and on the play, I just can't afford to keep this. If I had like a 1-mana red card that drew a card, I'd probably keep this, but without one of those, it's just too risky. This hand has a scry, so I'm going to gamble a little bit and keep. Get 2 shots at a land here, or a card that draws a card at a redraw. JK Howells, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Boca Boca. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Thanks, Makia. Yeah, since the release of the new set, we've had a lot of hype around Magic Arena in general. Even without the front page days, we've had a lot of people watching, which is sweet. Where am I from? I'm from the Midwestern United States. I live about 2 hours south of Chicago. I guess we're gonna roll a die. Nice. Sulfur Falls is a little bit scary because I want to cast this Tormenting Voice this turn to hit a land drop, but if they have a counterspell, they get to 2-for-1 me because I discard a card even if they counterspell this. Yeah, definitely, Zach. You should never pick to be on the draw in Standard. Random Number God. The biggest flaw in Arena is that I can't cheer for Jeff to Hope in chest. Thanks for the biddies. I have some packs we earned that I could crack in your honor. Opponent apparently doesn't have a removal spell for Steam-Kin and understands that means they are dead. Against Control, I want the Blasting Cannons and the Banefires. Cut Tormenting Voice and Lightning Strike. Someone's commenting on Arclight Phoenix versus Firebrand. I think Firebrand's much worse against Control, but it might just be fine. I don't know. I haven't played with Firebrand before. This deck definitely doesn't put Phoenix into play at the turbo rate that like the blue Phoenix decks do, but this card tends to be very good against Control decks, just because it's a resilient threat that comes back and back through removal. People always comment on Experimental Frenzy versus Blasting Cannons. Stop and think for a moment. Experimental Frenzy is really rancid when you have cards that draw cards in your deck because you can't play cards out of your hand. Why we cut Lightning Strike? I cut Lightning Strike because I'm not expecting my opponent's deck to have creatures in it that I need to kill with Lightning Strike. Never didn't have it. Let's lead on this because Electrostatic Field will put a counter on this. Sorry to bother. I was trying to build your blue-white Dove and tempo deck, but I don't have 50 bucks. I'm supposed to say bucks. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying. All right, so let's like shock their dome and then cast Light Up the Stage. Oh, for Teferi. Oh, I'm not even sure if Teferi's good in that deck, so feel free to just put anything else in there. It was like theoretically a card for control, but I don't even know if it's good enough. If they have a counter spell here, I wouldn't be too surprised to see this get like absorbed. So we do still get to hit them for 3 with Steam-Kin though, which is nice. Always remember, if you have a question about cards we are or aren't playing on the deck list, a deck list is available on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. You can also type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. The arena music is very good. And that is the arena music you're hearing playing. I think we're probably dead here. I guess maybe they don't have a negate, and then like Blasting Cannon gets to run away with it. I guess I do have another one, so maybe. Usually if your opponent untaps with Teferi, the game's pretty over if their health total is this high.
Keep up the pace.
Someone asked, how do you beat decks with lots of removal with this deck? You usually don't. One of the things that's great against this format is that there's lots of play and counterplay to everything, and decks have good matchups and bad. And this deck is very bad against decks that are heavily interacting with it, while it's very good against decks that are just trying to race it. Hydroid still draws cards and gain life when it's syncopated, because the drawing cards and gaining life is a cast trigger, not a resolve trigger. What's going on, Divinity? Hope you had a good one too. Mine was swell. This is the first time I've taken 2 days off in a row in a while. Let's move along. Let's move along with our lives here, shall we? Pretty dead. I think I'm happy with how I sideboard. I'm just gonna go ahead and run it back. I actually answered your questions last time, Mick Bene, and I said yes, because you can't cash things out of Magic Arena. So, and Magic Online is gambling, because you can sell your tickets for cash and get real money out of it. You can't do that with Magic Arena. You can always find all of the decks, Spellheart, in the deck queue on my website. So if you want to see like Jund Judy or Red Black Rights or Esper Midrange or things like that coming up, they are all to be found there. Do you think there's a good reason to splash green or black in the current mono red list? Yeah, it seems interesting. There was actually a mono red list that top 32'd the open that had a black splash just for Theater of Horrors in the sideboard, which confirms the fact that, like, my gut that, like, Theater is probably better than Experimental Frenzy on average is probably true. There were still quite a few decks listed in your stream name for today, and it seems like it'll take longer than go to 4 p.m. finish. So I play all of these decks today. I might not get to Blue-Red Wizards, but I do plan to run longer than 4 o'clock today. Usually on days after we're on the front page, we maintain a bigger viewer count for a little bit longer, so I like to run late. Because I already have my lands 2 and 3 lined up, I'm going to hold this crash through for after I play the Steam-Kin, so that way I can put a 1/1 counter on here. 13 months is crazy. I never got an email to my build-around submission. Yeah, I don't always respond to tier 3 submissions if I'm really busy. So if you double-check, it should be in the queue, Alcohol. Thanks for the tier 3, I appreciate it. You have Memekin and Bant Flash. Any of the decks on my website I think are pretty fun. That's basically what the website serves to be, right? Like, the website is, these are decks that are sweet. Gonna get Deafening Clarion next turn and cry. Is best of 3 a good place to play Memekin? I mean, Memekin's definitely worse in best of 3 than it is best of 1 because there's more interaction post boards in best of 3, but I don't really enjoy playing best of 1 in general. Ooh, do they not have a... Well, that's really good for me. Land would be great here. Rats. Alright, I guess I just do this and try and hit a land. Yeah, I think Blue-Black Pirates is probably pretty sweet in the current format. I think it's great against the Nexus decks. It's pretty reasonable against Control. This is the 44th place New Jersey list. I mean, technically... The 44th place list from New Jersey was card for card the deck list that you've been able to find on my website for like the last week and a half now. Yeah, I agree, Moonlight. The people that are trying to just play a bunch of best of 1 and then complain about the decks that are really good in best of 1 need to just like learn to play best of 3. You think White Weenie will be bad in best of 3 ranked? Nope. I think White Weenie is great. We played Jeskai aggro on stream recently and it was very, very good. Yeah, we actually played the Gates Banners deck second this morning, Dwarf Lord. It'll be up on YouTube later. Man, I hate it when Burgo complains about people complaining about people complaining. What a meta complaint, Hippie. Really appreciate the depth on that one. Well, no, so here's the thing, Talrook. You are making the very rude, egotistical assumption that everybody hates Nexus and Mono Red in Best of 1. Like, complaining about Nexus and Mono Red in Best of 1, in my opinion, is a lot like only playing Best of 3 and complaining that sideboards exist. It's like, well, you're choosing to play Best of 3, so you've chosen to play the format where sideboards exist when there's this other format where they explicitly don't exist. So, like, you've made the choice to play this format that explicitly has this thing that you're claiming not to like. So, like, maybe instead of complaining about it, realize that lots of people enjoy Magic in lots of different ways, and just because you personally don't enjoy Mono Red or Nexus in Best of 1 doesn't mean that everybody feels the same way that you do. Magic is great because it's a lot of different games to a lot of different people, and not every game mode or every deck in every game mode is going to appeal to every person. And that's fine. It's impossible for every deck in every game mode to appeal to every person. The Neo bars are really good. I agree. I sample all my sponsors that scroll on this banner over here, and if they aren't good, I tell them no. The land is in the sideboard for when you board in Vance's blasting cannons. I don't think I want to do anything here, right? I think I'm just gonna pass. Yikes. I guess that put the Phoenix in the bin. Oh, geez, they're life flanking. Oh, no. Oh, no. Probably dead. This can be countered. Ooh. We might still be dead here if they have like a burn spell next turn, but we're not dead on board anymore, so we got that going for us. And that's just such a good example of like why the blue-red based control decks I feel just like look so much better on paper than Esper. Like just being able to actually close the game out is so powerful. Crackling Drake and Niv Mizzet are just truly fantastic powerful cards. I agree. Teferi means we're dead. What card in the respective standard was more powerful, Siege Rhino or Crackling Drake? Probably Siege Rhino, not close. Siege Rhino was like really omnipresent and aggressive. Yeah, Rhino saw a lot of play. No, we're far more than Crackling Drake is. Sees at the moment. Raptor Hatchling. We're kind of all dressed up with nowhere to go at the moment. How dead is this Runaway Steam-Kin? MTG Forest with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Oh. Okay. Hopefully we hit a 1-mana cantrip or a shock next turn, so we can go Electrostatic Field into hit them and to light up the stage and like start chaining some stuff here. Yeah, okay, enough. Win the game now. Moments, I agree. That's a great way to phrase it. Lava Coil, read. Probably just gonna have to light the stage up as a 3-mana divination. God, who wants to pay 3 mana to draw 2 cards? This is so vomit-inducing. Who in their right mind would pay this much mana to draw 2 cards? That's completely unreasonable. Alright. Yeah, I don't think we're just dead by any means. I agree. I think we have an actual game here. Deckmaster is sending the correct information up to Twitch, so if you're having issues, I'd encourage you to restart your thing. I'm going to block here, and I'm going to take 3 over here. I'm not blocking with this because I don't want them to use 2 Firebrands to kill this, I don't think. Why is Phoenix under the stage awkward? I'm not sure if they're dead. I haven't counted. Hey, MJ Shalalesh, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Okay, just do this. I'll have a full article breaking down my thoughts on the Standard Open that happened this past weekend on Cool Stuff Inc. on Wednesday. Gosh, they're so close to dead. This is 3 and this is 4. You just go ahead and do this and then skewer the Legion War boss. Do I? No, I just skewer them, right? And just like leave these back. I'm just gonna skewer them and then have them be dead to the bird attack next turn. Because skewer is a sorcery. All the spectacle cards are sorceries. They could burn us out here, but I think it's right to make them have it and, like, leave them dead on board. Thanks, Evan. The people who give me hate for the things that I say in topic areas like that, those aren't people that I really want to be around me anyway, so they can go do whatever they want to do. Sure, but this is a good example of a situation where I'm playing to win the game as opposed to trying to play super defensive to not lose. So here I'm taking 4, 5. My thoughts on Todd Stevens is that he is scum, and the fact that he continues to make money off the Magic community that he hurt without making any sort of real amends is terrible. Chainwhirler and Lava Coil are great here. If you don't know what Stevens did, I'd encourage you to Google it. You'll be much better at life in general if you learn how to look things up. I'm not getting into the details of what he did here. Google it. I'm not getting into it here. You can also look up my Twitter account. There's a great thread of it. Great thread on it there from over the weekend. So, I think I'm supposed to trim Guttersnipe. Actually, I'm probably supposed to trim Steam-Kin against the Fanatical Firebrand deck, right? That's probably. Well, and part of the thing, too, is the Magic community's grown an absurd amount in the last few months. Because of Arena, so there's a lot of people coming in that have no idea who he is and what he did, so. I think Phoenix is fast enough just because it plays defense. Alright, this is a fair warning to put the mods on high alert, set phasers to stun. It says, whenever things like this get mentioned on stream, it usually brings out the alt-right. Or people who just want to be generally obnoxious. Alright, I'm gonna click submit. I did not. I don't really know. I never knew Stevens on a personal level, and I'm glad I didn't, apparently. Make an example out of me, God bless. I think I just want to... Nah, I probably want to hold the shock. So if I hold the shock, I can Tormenting Voice, ditch the Phoenix next turn, and then, like, have 1, 2, 3 to bring the bird back. I don't think that's strictly true. I think that's an overstatement. I think there's obnoxious people everywhere. My favorite part of the stream is set spawns to aggro mode exists. That's one of those, it's funny because it's true. How do we feel about Guttersnipe this turn? I think I'm gonna play the Guttersnipe because I think if they double Firebrand the Guttersnipe, that's a win for me. Yeah, like, but I think I'm like okay with that exchange, right? I guess they could have like a shock. Shock makes me feel kind of bad here. What's going on, Evan? Thanks for the sub. Alright, I think I'm supposed to go shock, skewer. You know what's never welcome in my chat? I don't care if you're a sub, we'll time you out still. Never go, this thing's not worth talking about because there's other terrible things that exist in the world. There's always another terrible thing to talk about, and your pocket sand distractism to like say, hey, we're not gonna talk about this thing at hand because there's something worse that exists is BS. Take it out of here. Anybody who brings up a whataboutism is interacting with your discussion at hand in a dishonest manner, or they're just not very bright, one of the two, and either way, they're not worth engaging with. Sun Saru, thanks for the 27-month resub, I appreciate that, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. What on God's green earth does that do? Gets 1-0 until end of turn, interesting. God bless the first strike. Can you play Esper midrange today? We are actually gonna play Esper midrange today. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be 4 decks from now. In fact, I'm gonna take Blue-Red Wizards off because with the cut, we are not gonna get to that today. This is why we've been holding the mountain like a clever boy. Yeah, I think I just go ahead. If they draw their 4-mana Phoenix for Kindling Phoenix, I'm going to be sad that I was aggressive with this. But with the shock in my hand, I have a 2-turn kill here, so I'm going to be aggressive. Do my feelings as Deputy of Tension as a medium card change? I don't know. We're going to play with it today in Esper midrange. I definitely think if you're pairing Deputy of Detention with cards like Thought Erasure and other must-answer threats like Thief of Sanity, it's probably more reasonable. Thank you for being a positive influence on the community and for always having great content. Thanks for the bits, Full Metal. Thanks for keeping me around. Right, Nivik? This hand just doesn't do anything, right? This is just like too much top end. Feels bad to mulligan lands and spells, but... I'm not getting excited about any of the 2020 candidates until I've all seen them debate. And I've seen several sites do lineup comparisons of where they stand on the issues and what their voting records are on important topics that I care about. Anybody who cares about democracy should feel the same way. Get informed before you make decisions. You don't need patched wine, you just need wine staging and it works fine. Is Hoaglandia a democracy or a monarchy? Hoaglandia is a democracy in that the same way the United States is a democracy. Everybody gets a vote, and then at the end of the day, whoever sent me the most money gets their way. At least I'm honest about it, though, okay? At least I'm honest about what's going on. Y'all can trust me. I'm upfront with you, at least. Here's hoping that someday I can renew my Prime sub via the Twitch mobile app. Thank you, Zinder, for the 3 months. I appreciate that. You actually can do it already on Android mobile. To Jeffocracy. I wonder if I'm supposed to hold all those instant sorceries and just cast this because of a removal spell like this. I'm going to hold on to one mountain in case we draw another Tormenting Voice, but I definitely don't want to hold 2 here. Do you have an opinion on Dimir Control? I think Dimir Control falls pretty short right now. I think the Dimir Control has 2 problems, which is that 1, it doesn't have a diverse selection of answers in the format. And then 2, on top of not having a diverse set of answers, it also doesn't have a particularly fast clock, right? So, basically, you either need to be able to answer things like... You either need to be answering things. We actually didn't lose 2.5k while talking about Totten politics. That's actually not how the numbers work. We've been steadily losing people since we fell off the front page because that is how Twitch works. We are super dead at this point, right? Yeah, Dimir lacks planeswalkers and it lacks a fast clock. So I think things like Grixis could potentially be reasonable because they can play like Crackling Drake and Niv Mizzet to shut the door quickly when you need to kill your opponent. I don't think we can beat Wild Growth Walker from there either. I agree with that assessment. I'm gonna cut the shocks, bring in Lava Coils. Actually, risk factor's a little medium here. Let's do that. Let's do that. What's my favorite Paramore song? Christy and I actually danced to Where the Lines Overlap is the first song at our wedding, so I'm gonna go with that one. Although I'm a pretty big Paramore fanboy, so I like a lot of their stuff. I think Golgari just makes sense to play it as a Sultai deck now, so you can play Grixis. You gain a lot of power with a small splash. I think Fight with Fire is just too slow. The Fight with Fire in my sideboards are mostly there for dealing with copies of Lyra. Yay, Runaway Steam-Kin. Hopefully he's gonna live up to his title this game. Crash Collision is a better answer to Lyra. It's a different answer to Lyra. I think there's a viable deck for Spawn of Mayhem. Maybe. We're actually gonna play the red-black rights deck that we're gonna play 2 decks from now. Is actually going to be a what's it called deck? I'm gonna play Guttersnipe here. And then next turn I can go Field Warlord Fury. The red-black rights deck is a Spawn of Mayhem deck. If they don't have a removal spell here, they are super dead. Keep up the good work, John Slayer. Thank you for the 3-month resub. I appreciate the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Gosh. Don't mind me making some mana. No, all the animations are sped up for sure. Dunk, 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 dunk. Yikes. Lightning Bolt that draws a card, right? This deck is so good. When you can't interact, when your opponent's not interacting with you, you're just like, hold on. Hold on. What if? This is just the default animation speed on Arena now. Dunk, dunk. Alright, don't Ritualist at me. Go. Are we done here? What are we doing with ourselves? Was this sweet Merfolk Branchwalker you cast though? Oh, I could have Lava Coiled my own thing. Sure. Yeah, I was thinking that this doesn't kill the opponent, but yeah. The trigger was really lethal. Good call. Good call. And we technically wouldn't have even killed our own thing because they would have died before our thing died, chat. Just good clean living right there. The best part is all the cast triggers, you're not wrong. Could I have shocked them instead of the Branchwalker? I don't think so, right? Because then they would have blocked my Steam-Kin. What's my opinion on the legalization of marijuana? I'm super liberal. I think it's really stupid that we jail people over non-violent stuff like that. Like, look at the state of Illinois. This state desperately needs money, and that's something they could generate tax revenue on. Make it legal, regulate it, tax it. And that's coming from the opinion of someone who would never smoke. I have zero desire to ever touch a joint. So this was actually a pretty big mistake on my part. I should have played one of my cantrips on 1 to try and set up a 2-drop on 2. And if I would have done that, I would have gotten to play the Steam-Kin on 2. Yeah, misery business second yard. God, just like, my mistake has really snowballed here, right? Like, if I would have played this on 2, it would be in play while I was lava coiling here, which is a big deal. In the United States of America, that is a very liberal view. I would classify it as a human view, but as someone who's aware of like where the lines get drawn in the United States, that's a very liberal viewpoint that I just gave you. Yeah, we're just like super far behind because I didn't play my cantrip on 1 and we hit the Steam-Kin. I think I'm actually going to go Electrostatic Field into a Warlord's Fury now. Just so that way this dies to the Chupacabra instead of my Steam-Kin. Because I think I'd rather have this die. But again, I'd just be like in such an absurd spot if I'd have just played a little better. Hey, Wenjin, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Alright, I think I'm going to play the Arclight Phoenix this turn, and I'm going to go ahead and block here. So I could do this. I don't think we can win from here, but let's try and do some stuff. All right. Alrighty. Do 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 do. All right. All right. Well, we did a thing, kinda, I guess. Just gonna go ahead and pass the turn here, I think. God, we'd have probably just dunked this entire game if I would have played my cantrip on one. So if I Guttersnipe... Yeah, I have land drops. The question is what I want to do here. So, like, do I want to Tormenting Voice ditch the Guttersnipe, or do I want to Guttersnipe and then Voice ditch Voice? Yeah, I think we need to find removal spell, right? So it's probably better to Voice ditch Guttersnipe. All right, so now let's do this. No, I just had a hoodie on before, but my Space Heater's been running, so. All right, last copy of Light Up the Stage, please. We got pretty close considering, like I said, I think we would have dunked this game if I hadn't messed up my cantrip on one. Any particular reason you're not flashing back Faithless Looting, right? Oh, it is trample. Nothing we could do there. Nothing we could do there. All right, let's try again. I think if I would have, and again, like that third game was such a great example of not recognizing that I needed to play my cantrip on one, and then being permanently behind in all of my sequencing in a way that ultimately snowballed into me not being able to win the game. Is there a shell like this deck that doesn't run Phoenix? There is not. Not that I'm aware of. Someone else mentioned they were trying Firebrand instead of Phoenix, which is interesting. It also makes the deck really cheap to put Firebrand instead of Phoenix. So if you're looking for a budget deck, that's probably not terrible. Yeah, all the decks can be found in the deck queue on my website. Although I think the Esper Midrange deck isn't up there right now because that was just added. So, want to lead on Runaway Steam-Kin here. A lot of the breeding pool matchups are good for this deck because they, unless they're playing Sultai, they don't have, like the Bant matchups tend to not have a lot of good removal for this card. I'm actually going to decline attacking with Runaway Steam-Kin because I'd prefer it doesn't get sealed away. What's going on, Me Paints? Well, thanks for dropping in today. Hope you're having a good Monday. Or is it Tuesday? It's probably Tuesday in Australia already, right? I agree that seal away doesn't feel good, but that doesn't mean people don't play it. No, it is not, Loma. Not worth your time in the slightest. Alright, now I'm going to attack with both of these since I have two things to seal away at this point. Next turn, hopefully we draw a land or another Phoenix, and I can go Tormenting Voice, ditch that, and then do some other stuff here. Risk factor, huh? Seal Away is regarded as a card that feels bad to play with, generally speaking. It's not a card that's particularly impressive. So I think I just attack for 5 here again. I could, like, Shock, but then I can't Tormenting Voice because I don't have another card, so... No, I've not played a blue-black Winds deck. I didn't attack with Steam-Kin on turn 3 because I didn't want it to get sealed away. I'm doing quite well, Nick. Life is swell. We're steaming and memeing. I think this matchup's pretty tough for the Bant deck. I think if this deck, like this deck top 64 at the open, if this deck is going to be something you have to play against with the Bant deck, you probably want to put, some copies of Baffling End in your sideboard. I think it's a card you probably want. Just so you can, like, take Steam-Kin off the table. Healed 6, died turn 4. Got him. When is Baffling End better than Sealed Away? When you're exiling creatures that cost 3 or less, basically. Yeah, I think this deck's fine in best of 1. It's very, very proactive, which tends to be good with outside boards. Yeah, seems super reasonable. Blue Cactus, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. You're shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. The gate deck was really sweet. We played 4-color gates this morning and definitely impressed me. Seemed quite fantastic. Still not family friendly. What's going on? What's going on, Tug? Let's just call you Tug, shall we? Nobody's gonna complain if we say, hey, Tug, right? Yeah, the Gates deck was really impressed. Remember, if you ever can't catch a deck that we're playing live, you can always catch up on my YouTube channel later, youtube.com/JeffOakland. Spell Pierce is interesting. I'm gonna elect to not attack because, again, would like to not get sealed away. I didn't want to shock on the end step turn 1 because shocking does more things when I have these in play. Yeah, definitely Moonlight. I've definitely been pretty impressed with how many people we've kept after the front page stuff. Was not expecting to keep this many for sure. It's been awesome to see people hang out. Wow, do they not have a counterspell? That's absurd for me. And I hit... Oh, I'm gonna be one short of... I use the shock this turn. It's a shame I'm one mana short of being able to jumpstart this Risk Factor. Yep. You're playing Bant Nexus deck and you think they're playing Unmoored Ego, what are cards that you bring in? Carnage Tyrant, Lyra, some play Shalai. You can look at, we played Bant Nexus last week and you could see some examples of that. Remember that time I kept playing around Seal Away? I'm so smart. Well, if you're a fan of Standard and the last time you played was Cons, you haven't missed that much, because a lot of the Standard formats between Cons and now are pretty widely accepted as being really bad. But this current Standard format is possibly one of the best formats of Magic I've ever played. So, you coming back now, you're definitely in for a treat. Well, I appreciate you dropping in to give the support on Twitch for us. Those Twitch subs are the reason why I'm able to do this as a job for sure. I might not be the best Magic content producer in the world, but I think I certainly an argument that I'm the most organized. What makes a format bad? What was bad about then? So the biggest difference between this format and the format I just talked about that I said was bad is that this current format has a much better threat to answer ratio than previous Standard formats did. So the previous Standard format had a lot of cards in it that didn't have good clean answers to them. Yeah, the Gates deck's a lot of fun for sure. Got him. Got him. Do you have a community Discord where new players can hang out and seek advice? I have a Discord for my subscribers, but I do not maintain a public Discord, no. Is there a way to mute another member of chat that automatically drops off after a period of time? No. You just have to / ignore them, and then you'd have to remember to unignore them later if you wanted to hear them again. Elect, thanks for the 13-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Light up the stage is very good. What do you think of Dawn of Hope and Bant Fog? Dawn of Hope seems very good with Wilderness Reclamation, right? That seems like not amazing, but I think it's fine. Don't forget that like you can just like cast your Phoenix as like 4 mana 3/2 flying haste creatures. I haven't been that impressed with Priest of the Forgotten Gods. It seems like a card that takes a lot of setup to get going. It's a Salamander Drake. You can play Arena on OSX right now by using a wineskin. There are not any official plans at this time to support OSX that the Magic team has announced. It's impossible to know what was and wasn't played. Maybe a bunch of people showed up and played Marty with Judith and they all did poorly. Maybe nobody showed up with it. It's really hard to draw meaning. It's not hard. It's impossible to draw meaningful conclusions when you don't have all the information from the SCG. And just like all the information doesn't exist. Me Paints with the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people you can give that to every month. Thanks for supporting mine here. Hulkser with the brand new Prime support as well. Thanks for dropping in. Hope you're having a good Monday. Alright, so let's go ahead and kill this with fire before... I guess we could get Dovin down here, which kind of sucks. Underjoyed with the brand new Prime support as well. Thanks for dropping in. So shipping your Bezo bucks this way. Just a shock. God bless. All right, no justice, no punish. They have not announced any plans to release on mobile. Magic doesn't really make for a good mobile card game. Games like Hearthstone and Eternal and Test Legends, these other games that have mobile clients, they limit themselves in how they're able to design cards and board states in their game, so their game fits elegantly on mobile. Magic games have a lot more objects on the screen that you need to be tracking and managing. That makes it pretty difficult for mobile. Tablets and mobile are effectively the same thing. If it runs on an Android tablet, you can install it on an Android phone. There was a Frilled Mystic Tempo deck that got second at the STG Open this past weekend I'd recommend checking out. So I'd like to draw a land here so I can shock this, plus play another Arclight Phoenix. Probably dead here, assuming I'm gonna get Dove Down or Spell Pierce. I guess if I don't play this, I'd play around Spell Pierce and Dive Down, so it didn't matter. I mean, mobile's definitely where the money's at for a lot of these things, right? And like, while Arena's expanding Magic's audience a lot with what it's doing, it definitely could reach a bit more if it had a mobile client, but I really just don't want to think about like what they would have to sacrifice to like make it work on mobile. I don't think that's exactly true, Panza. Like, if you look at, like, the Judith deck and, like, the Mardu aggro-style Aristocrat decks that we've played on stream, I think building an Aristocrats deck with an aggressive slant in this format is very, very reasonable. Duels wasn't real Magic. You couldn't even play Standard on Duels. And here's the problem that a lot of people don't understand. I think there are a lot of Magic board states which are manageable on mobile. The problem is you don't just need most Magic board states to be manageable on mobile to put it on mobile and have a good user experience. You need to have all Magic board states work well on mobile to provide a good user experience. And as soon as you get a good number that don't work, it becomes less reasonable. No, Duels wasn't even real Magic because you couldn't put 4 of rares in your decks. It literally didn't let you build decks following the constructed rules of Magic the Gathering. I'm not gonna get into you with like best of 1 versus best of 3 or limited, but like, you know, you couldn't draft. So like, there wasn't draft and sealed on that game mode either, right? I know you couldn't. Yeah, you can only play 4 commons, 3 uncommons, 2 rares, and 1 mythic. I think some kind of companion app for mobile would be sweet, like being able to like log in and like build decks and maybe do a draft on your mobile device, but not actually play it. Stuff like that could be sweet. Like a way to like engage with Arena from your mobile without actually playing strict like full games of Magic. Maybe have some kind of mini game modes of Magic that exist on the desktop but also exist on mobile. Stuff like that would be good. A way to interact with friends lists, things of that nature. Similar how the Steam companion app works for mobile. Like stuff like that could be reasonable, I think. Why is the man in the talkie box so loud? I hate my talkie box. It's only got 1 volume setting. Talkie box man, be quiet. Be quiet, talkie box man. Sometimes I wonder how people manage to, you know what, actually, I think I'm supposed to field first here, right? You think I'm supposed to field first here? I'm gonna go ahead and ditch one of these birds for now. Would love to draw a couple more instants and sorceries here. Oh, I don't have any good attacks here. Drew a bunch of lands. John Avon better watch out. We're practicing drawing lands over here. We're coming for his job. Better be careful. I think unclaimed territory would be better in Drakes than the dual lands. I do not. Their deck has a lot of cheap blue spells. Oh, I'm muted. Sorry. Alright, well, here's hoping we draw an instant or sorcery so we get the Steam-Kin going. Yikes. Yikes. Alright, well, woof. This deck's a total hoot. The Terramander build of Drake seems sweet. Having an additional threat, and more importantly, a threat with 5 toughness seems very important. They've already said that there's going to be a new non-rotating format when rotation happens in the fall. I wouldn't be old enough to run for president in 2020. There's a minimum age requirement for that. Besides, could you imagine me trying to run for office, what people would pull up out of my YouTube archives? How old am I? I am 28. Oakland 2020, because America definitely needs a timeout. That's true. That's true. The existing administration has redefined all standards as far as crap you can say. Yeah, I do actually want to run. I do actually want to run for local stuff at some point. I think that could be good. Help people out. We're dead this turn, right? I can like put a blocker into play but not be done. Maybe at some point. Maybe if being a full-time meme ever stops being a job possibility, something like that could be fun to try and do. Or maybe even a representative seat. I don't have to be that old to do one of those. I've been mentally 40 since I was 17. Bitter, angry old man. I'm hoping this whole Twitch gig's got at least a good 3, 4, 5 years in it, though. Ilzaboft, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Used to play RDW occasionally. How many copies of Terrorman do you think are good for Drakes? Probably 4. I don't know. I'd start with whatever the list the top-rated SCG is playing. Tap the swamp. 5 years is a long time on the internet. That's why I said if this was still happening in 5 years, I'd be surprised. I'd be pleasantly surprised, but I'm just here for the ride as long as the ride will have me, okay, chap? At some point, I will cease to be a full-time meme, I'm sure, and go back to maybe contributing something to society, or become a politician, one of the two. Is this the mirror? I think it's the mirror. Looks like the mirror. Have I tried Artifact? Yeah, Artifact's a hot mess that doesn't have anybody playing it for a reason. I am very good at being a meme. I think I'm proven that I can be a full-time meme. How long have I been streaming for? Like today or in general? Alright, get to shock that, which is nice. In general, I've been a Twitch partner for almost 4 years on Twitch, and I streamed about a year before that. But I've been streaming full-time for approximately almost a year now. We put the kids in daycare, I think it was March of last year, if I recall correctly. March sounds right. Alright, well, we did a bunch of stuff and then nothing happened. Does Twitch send you a W-2? Twitch is considered 1099 contract work. I assume we're dead because they untapped with Guttersnipe. Usually that means you're dead. I'm gonna let them have their fun, okay? You know, I'm gonna cast this so that way we can auto pass. I think that is the most anyone has ever untapped with a, after opponent having Guttersnipe in play. So they have to let us draw cards here, right? Which means if this draws me another cantrip, we win the game or a shock. Gosh, what a razor thin game. So close. So close. GG. Some good clean living. All right, bring in some more interaction for Zemir. They did miss an attack, that's true. I'm gonna bring in a couple of these and just like max on removal. Doesn't seem unreasonable. Do I cut the Guttersnipes too? Nah, if it goes unchecked, it's pretty good. What if I just like... I'm gonna just like do this. Another month closer to our second Twitch baby. Keep all the sick content coming. It's been great to see the channel grow. Well, thanks for the support, Knights. I really appreciate it. Welcome back. So, like, if we just kill all their stuff, the match is going to go for a long time, which makes Vance's pretty good, right? I'm going to do that and just bring in all the removal. I don't know what Blade Brand does. Sand's fine. That's true. Maybe, well, so like the problem with Phoenix 2 though is that I expect them to be bringing in their Lava Coils as well, which makes Phoenix much worse. Do you mulligan under 2 lands? So, like, there isn't a strict always do this, never do this type situation for things like that, dude. It basically boils down to, like, what, it largely boils down to, like, what matchup are you playing? What are the spells in your hand? What is your deck looking to do, etc. I think I'm fine. Gives your creatures death touch and redraws. That's funny. It sounds sweet. That's not a card I played with Judith, though. No. The fact that it draws a card makes the floor in it pretty high, though, which makes it interesting. Anything that's like 1 or 2 mana and says draw a card, it's like hard for it to be too terrible, right? You'll be able to see stats on like followers per day on this website later. Like, Twitch has an API that tracks everything publicly except for sub count. So you can, like, click on me or Magic in general or any specific streamer and, like, watch them grow on there. See how many followers and stuff they've gained over the last X month. I've gained an absurd number of followers this month. Between the front page stuff and other things. Like, what is it on there? Followers... I've gained like 3,200 followers in the last week, so like the last 30 days it's like something like 6,000. Silly World, thank you for the Twitch Prime support, I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. In the last 30 days on there, I've gained 7,000 followers, it says. Or 6,700. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little bit everything. The front page has helped, the arena and this have helped. That's awesome. Yeah, D9 does good stuff. Definitely dumped people into his direction a couple of times. How many subs do I have currently? At this current point in time, I have 3,056 subscribers. How do I like the new headset? The new headset's great. Actually, the biggest difference between this and like my old headset was just like super cheap, so it was like upgrading from my old headset was easy, so the sound quality is much better too, because it's like an actual quality headset. But the two things I really like about it is that the cushions on it are much nicer. Like I sit here all day and my head doesn't feel crushed at the end of it, and the volume adjustment for the headset is built into the side here, so by twisting this left and right, it makes the volume go up and down instead of having like this really awkward gaudy inline connection, because I like having a volume control on the headset itself, but inline is awkward. Yeah, health insurance and the stability is the big thing for Christy Jin. Because, like, you know, like, some months, I've actually broken 3,000 subs before, especially with sub gifts in a month, but, you know, then it, like, drops down to, like, 2,000 in another month. There's a lot of variability in there. Thanks, Spires, I appreciate that. My 13-year-old's favorite subject in school is math. Any books or learning recommendations you recommend? I don't think I have any offhand for that age range, Dan. It's been a while since I've touched education in general, and especially that age range. But with the dial on my headset, I can make the talkie box man louder or quieter. Hey, Flip Out. Thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month. Did my opponent decide they were all memed out? They didn't want to play game 3? Maybe they had something come up too. I think the opponent might have DC'd. Yeah, correct, Sharps. We're not very extravagant people, so, like, we didn't go out and, like, buy a car or anything like that, or, like, spend a bunch of money when we started making a little bit more. Just lots of retirement saving. Is there a link for the new headset? Actually, so I need to be, this was a headset that I got for free from, is it Luminous Sound? God, I should know the sponsor. They, Tempo Storm, the scroller down below us. I think they're in the scroller at some point. What are they called? Lucid Sound. I knew it started with an L. Lucid Sound, and they're actually running a 30% off promo. So if you're looking for a new headset, check out the link below my stream. I can add a command here too. This is, you can use code TEMPO and get 30% off any of the headsets there for like the next week, I think, or so. Tempo Storm doesn't give me a ton of information about the sponsor necessarily too, so I'm like, you know, and I actually asked for a banner for the Lucid plug and I didn't get one, so I tried. The sound's good though, but I just like, for transparency in advertising, I did not pay money for this. I like it, but I did not pay for it. You get in big trouble if you don't let people know that you got stuff for free. Long-time YouTube viewer and popped in at Prime sub at U-Time. I'm happy to see the increased viewer count. Thank you, Silly World. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. You enjoy watching the Open this weekend? Yeah, the Open was sweet. Both the time-shifted feature matches and the addition of Jerry and Brian Gottlieb were quite fantastic. Was super, super excited. Good time watching that. Need to play more tempo decks for shield purposes, right? Keep up the good work. Thank you, Pizzas, for the very generous tier 3 sub. Welcome back. I appreciate the half a year. I think this is actually their cheapest one. I think it's the 2025 or something like that. There's not a model on here, is there? Oh wait, I have a box. Yeah, it's the LS25. Yeah, I think I might actually pick one up for Christy because she also has a garbage headset upstairs. All right, so we've got stuff to do here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and risk factor to start here. I would not expect Star City Games to add West Coast events to their tournament series anytime soon. It's just not profitable for them to travel to the West Coast. People just don't play Magic tournaments on the West Coast like they do in the Midwest and the East Coast. $75, yeah, and the code tempo gets you 30% off, so I think it's about $50 with the discount, which is actually pretty reasonable. Like, the headset that I'm referring to as my old garbage headset was like 25 or $30. DX Racer is one of my sponsors. So I actually have a chair coming from them sometime soon. $52.49. That numbers are great. I think the Aristocrats decks in Standard already are pretty viable. People shouldn't take the fact that a deck didn't put up numbers at the first tournament of the weekend, especially when it's a new archetype, to mean like the deck's not playable. It's just like not how Magic works. More viable? I don't know that it's not more viable already. It's such a narrow topic. Everybody like feels like their deck has to be the best and top 8ing every tournament to be viable. It's just, again, it's not how Magic works. There's lots of variations of things that are competitive, especially in good formats. Like, in my opinion, the thing that sets good standard formats apart from bad standard formats is that the tier 2 and tier 1.5 decks are pretty competitive in relation to the tier 1 ones. Aristocrats, that's a good question. Aristocrat style deck refers to an archetype that's based around like sacrificing creatures, basically. You have a deck list for Mardu? There's a Mardu aggro deck list on my website. That's very aristocrat-y. It plays Judith in it and other cards. I don't think I have any other Sphinx of the Foresight decks in the queue. I think we're dead here at this point. I guess if I hit a Tormenting Voice into some burn spells, I could kill them with this Phoenix. So hoping to draw Tormenting Voice and then chain off. That's true. We are going to play a modern deck at some point with Sphinx in it. I think we're going to get to Narset Cannon this week. We'll see. I think other people bump some other things too, though. Google it. I mean, life becomes a lot better when you learn to look stuff up. So I'd encourage you to do that, rather than bogging down chat with it. I definitely want the Lava Coil because I need to kill Thief of Sanity. Kills Nicol Bolas as well. I think Risk Factor is a card that basically comes out against anything that's not control. Yeah, Narset, the Modern queue competes with the Legacy queue as well, though, for being the Moto deck list each morning. So I think the Legacy decks have like 1 or 2 above Modern at the moment. I didn't look at Saffron's olive list for Modern. I have zero desire to try and innovate in Modern. If I'm gonna show up in Modern, I'm gonna show up with something fast and degenerate. Seems pretty good. I think anybody who thinks Nexus of Fate needs to be banned needs to play more best of 3. Nexus of Fate's only really good in best of 1 because the cards that are good against Nexus of Fate aren't good main deck cards. What do you need to do to get Narset above? Look at however many points Narset currently has in the queue, and then donate dollars to get it more points than whatever the highest Legacy or Modern deck is. So I want to do this. Which sideboard cards are good against Nexus of Fate? Counter Spells, Duress, and Cindervines are the best cards in the format against Nexus of Fate. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with these, which then means I can make mana with this and play Guttersnipe. They might be dead here, right? We might pop off. This is turn 4. This is our 4th turn, right? Anytime Steam-Kin lives, things get real messed up real fast. Opponent seen enough. God bless. Anybody who thinks Nexus of Fate is too good, I'd encourage you to look up the results from the SCG tournaments this weekend. I think it's pretty good. What are the sideboard cards for Bant and Wild Growth Walker decks? All of your removal spells. Cards like Lava Coil. It's not even a problem. It's just best of 1 is different from best of 3. Best of 1's a format where Nexus decks are very good, and if you don't enjoy the play pattern of the decks that are good in best of 1, you should try other formats of Magic. No, generally speaking, I just do new decks in the queue for bits or donations. If people donate multiple subs, usually I'll let them bump things in the queue, though. It's just too hard to track sub gifts because I don't have a dashboard for tracking it. Well, I had a command. I need to remember. I need to write down what my commands are when I make them out. I had a command that said the difference between Open and Classic. Opens are larger tournaments. Oh, it's Open versus Classic. There we go. Look at that. Someone else figured it out. Alright, well, hopefully we draw a spell next turn. Looking for a 1-mana instant or sorcery here so we can get Phoenix back. That's unfortunate. I'm just gonna do this. It might be right to just, like, skewer their dome and hold the mountain in the Electrostatic Field and, like, discard the mountain here, too. Fatso, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, I needed to flip the bird back that turn, I think. So, Memekin's a lot of fun. This is, if you're looking to just linear people super hard and, like, ignore people... and, like, people are trying to ignore you and not interact with you, I think this deck is really good. I think the rate at which this deck goldfishes turn 4, 5, 6 kills is probably higher than a lot of other decks in the format. But as a number of the matches we played there today showed, if people are being heavily interactive, they're playing control decks, they're playing mid-range deck with lots of removal, I think this deck tends to line up very poorly against those. So I think at the end of the day, the deck's very fun to play those. That is a big upside as well. So if you're looking for something that's kind of combo-esque, if you're someone who enjoys Modern or like playing a lot of cards and drawing through a lot of your deck in a turn, this deck's definitely that style of play.